wearing my EC3 shirt, you know?
Sure, didn't you
may not see it.
I see it. I don't want to talk because I don't want to ruin banter. You know what I mean? Until you're ready.
Oh, I'm ready, bro. You know what's... Well, first of all, you need to get your camera. Oh, my gosh, bro. What is this? Just set it down.
I'm putting it on a pedestal, so I have a...
You know, every podcast I've seen you do, you got this whole, like, studio set up. You got, like, this microphone. You got these headphones, and, like, here you are just bougie. Come on, bro.
Like, it fucking varies. It varies what production I will have available. That is my studio. You are in my home. Not many people get to get inside this. You should be thanking your lucky stars. I'm giving you the preferential treatment.
This is an exclusive. Oh.
What is this?
Nice.
Why is it going out? Why does it do that?
I did not add that effect.
Yeah, this is usually, because we will do it on my partner's laptop when it's there. Like, the iPad is different, and I forgot my headphones in someone's car, so hopefully the audio is okay.
It's going to be amazing. I'll do the best I can. But are you sure there's not, like, a setting on it? It's not, like, making you go in and out, is it? The zoom?
No, I did that one time. I don't know why I did that. That was cool, though. Like, I would like it a little wide, but not too wide. What the fuck? Am I gone?
I'm keeping all of this, just so you know.
All right, we're good. Yeah, it's fine.
Awesome.
That's how I roll.
Yeah, so...
I don't like
I'm
so looking down. I'm going to look at you. Okay.
No, it looks
good. Am I looking at you? Because I can't tell.
No, you're not looking at me. And I may not be looking at you because I'm looking at the external camera. As a matter of fact, let me make sure it's recording. Just so I'm not... All right, we good. Perfect. Yeah, so as I was saying, every episode, I usually, like, do this, right? Like, everybody will sign on Zoom. And then we'll have, like, an organic conversation. And then all of a sudden I have to stop the organic conversation and be like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, on today's episode. And every time I watch the beginning of a podcast, it's so cringy. So now it's just like, I just want to flow right into it, bro. You know?
Let it flow like the River Rhine. Yeah, usually, people have like an intro set and like music. Yeah. I don't know what you got going on because you came at me when you're brand new and I'm like, yo, bro, I have caveats. I like you.
I'm so happy.
We're cool. We're pals. But I can't, and like, man, I'm so busy that this is taking me away from something. I mean, I'm not saying, like, I'm not going to do it for my boy, but like, shit, I could be writing something. I'm writing a pitch. I'm like doing all these things, but I'm going to take the time. You needed a couple reps before you stepped up into me. But you keep fucking pestering me, so fine. I'm like, if you could do it right now, today, this time, I'll do it.
Zero prep. Those of you who are watching, zero prep in this episode right now. Literally texted him earlier, and here we are like an hour later almost. But yeah, straight to the, I went straight to the heavy sets by asking you to come on instead of putting in like the warm-ups, right? I just went straight heavy.
No, you just like, take it from me who could barely walk into the gym today and walk out of it. What's the point of a warm-up? Just go. And look what happened.
Did that happen today?
Yeah, I think I broke my hand dropping there's a neck machine at Millie's gym. I don't know if you've been there yet.
Yep.
On Dillard Garden. Yeah. There's a neck machine in it. What an idiot. All right.
Dude. So that's going to take you out of action.
No. I'll be fine.
You're your own boss. So it's like.
It's true. And that's why everything sucks.
Dude, your thing is like, it keeps moving. I think you have a setting on.
Well, what do I do?
Just let it be. Let it roll.
Yeah, listen, like, I don't want to press the wrong button. We're flowing. Yeah.
All right, you guys. So for those who's watching, listening, we got the real EC3 on the podcast today. And as he was saying earlier, I've been pestering him. I feel like DJ Khaled asking a rapper to get on one of his songs because constantly being consistent, and it's finally done, so I'm happy. But yeah, man, a lot of things I want to talk to you about, just career-wise, nutrition-wise, training-wise.
It would be nice. It's gonna be nice for me to step out of the wrestling bubble. I just had a very nice conversation with a man named Noah who's in Hollywood and just about like a movie podcast. who likes wrestling, but he doesn't live by it. He's not like this nerdy wrestling. What's it like to know? It's like real people, because like we're real dudes, like popping in the barbershop, spit the fat, whatever the kids are saying, sling the beef, eat the hash. I don't know, but we have normal conversations.
This is the first podcast where, like, if your viewers, once they see this backdrop, they're gonna be like, "What the hell is EC3 doing?" But I love it. You got to switch up. You got to switch it up.
Juice up the vibes. I love doing things differently. That's why I control my own narrative. Everything, wrestling is such a little bubble, and I'm just trying to pop it, show the world there's nothing else out there. And what else is out there? Well, our boy Merrick, who's dropping the fire. All right,
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying to get this YouTube money, man. Yeah, man. I'm trying to get this YouTube money. Yeah, bro. So let's talk about control your narrative. While you brought that up, this whole new movement that you got going on. Obviously, that was your brand from the forefront, but now it's just rolling into something a lot bigger than you, right? So talk to me how that necessarily came about as of recently in terms of like a whole movement.
What's good about your, niche and your podcast is you're not going to be like diehard wrestling fans. So I can give a very broad kind of overview of why it should relate to everybody and not just a wrestling fan. So you hate your job? Do you hate your boss? Do you hate working for a corporation that you're punching the clock and you're just told what to do, and you do the 9 to 5, you put in the time, but they fire you in a second? Like, that's pro wrestling too. No matter what level you get to, it's entertainment, it's athleticism, it's sport. But at the same time, it is a corporate gig that they can just throw you away. So I was thrown away during a pandemic. A lot of people were thrown away. People are thrown away all the time. That's the nature of the beast. But in being thrown away this time, I felt there's nothing to lose than to try something new, unique, and different. I started that by recreating myself as a character. Eventually that parlayed into creating other people as a character, but these characters aren't wrestling characters as much as they are the real life personas intensified with a platform to tell their story. Control your narrative, tell your story. So we would shoot the wrestling, which is cool as shit, great, athletic, fun. If you like a movie fight scene, you're going to like a pro wrestling match, especially with how we shoot it, because we shoot it with a cinematic lens. So you're in the action, you can feel it, but there's no stunt doubles, there's no cuts. So you're seeing raw, real physical action. If you like fighting, people punch in the face, cool as shit, check us out. That then therefore turned into sort of a second iteration where a big name from the corporate wrestling world, Braun Strowman, aka Adam Scherr, was also thrown away by the company. He and so many other people were into this because it's different from the wrestling world. He wanted to do one too. So we made a second feature. Things rolled, they stalled. We kind of started, in the theory, a small business. So think of a small business in the world. Think of your local mom and pop sub shop compared to big Subway. They're serving dog shit. They suck. But there's 8 billion stores and they're rich as hell. But we're the Larry Subs, and we make our shit with heart, authenticity. So our show kind of got noticed by a new network, a television network starting in the pro wrestling niche. They therefore wanted to be the exclusive provider of Control Your Narrative. So all of a sudden, we kind of wound up with a streaming television deal, which is pretty exciting considering it's just us. And at the same time, we found the opportunity to run live shows. We started in Orlando. We're going to Cleveland May 13th, Detroit May 14th, Cedarburg, Wisconsin May 15th. We just came off of a very successful show in Dallas. So bringing this atmosphere and this unique perspective to a live audience, we just jumped in, and it's a lot. So hopefully that could parlay into a normal human's like, I could respect them starting a small business and trying something their way. And that sounds cool. Maybe I'll take a look. So.
Right. That's dope, man. I had no idea that you guys actually got a TV deal.
Yeah, it's weird, because you follow me on the gram, but apparently I've made a lot of enemies along the way. So my algorithms get hit by people reporting everything I post. It's like my social media is taking a shit. But yeah, I've talked about it. And the thing about social media too, you just got to, if you're a figure trying to sell something, podcast, wrestling, you got to consistently talk about it to the point where it's annoying, because it's not annoying to the people who don't know. Like, we're fucking tight and you didn't even know I had a TV deal. And it's not like, hey, bro, I got a TV deal. It's just like maybe he sees on social. Like, so that's just a lesson while you're building your brand. As annoying as it is, like, I can't believe I got to say this again today. You have to, because every time someone sees you, it's probably the first time.
Yeah, it makes sense. So, yeah, man, that's dope. I mean, I feel like now more than ever compared to so when I first saw you, I was at a WWE, I think it was a Monday Night Raw. And I don't know if you were brand new to the company, but you came out like at 7:30 before the actual live show to do like that warm-up match. And I was just like, damn, who's this jack dude? You're a lot more thick like back then, not as shredded. But you were like oiled up, like tan. And I'm like, damn, they're probably going to push this dude to be the next John Cena, right? So you go back to a time back then, right? Compared to like a time now where there's so many different options in terms of like wrestling promotions. Like back then, obviously, I guess there were options, but I'm saying on like a commercial scale. I feel like there's so many options because of like the internet itself, which is helping people brand themselves like you guys. So do you see like that trend or like a major difference now in terms of like wrestling promotions versus back then when you first started?
I think there's a way to look at it conclusively, completely different. So back in the 90s and 2000s, when, we were probably young wrestling fans, you had WWF, you had WW, WCW went away. There's other options, but nobody's competitive with WWE because they have the market. They are the game in town, so to speak. At the time you're mentioning where I debuted in a new company, even then, like an AEW just started, which is probably the closest thing to competition because it's on a major network. There's a couple other brands that have a good TV presence, but like WWE 1, AEW's number 2, everything else 3 or 4. But that's an old way of looking at it to me. And I think this may help you in your journey because it's what called a creator's economy now. So anybody can create in any genre they want in any niche and find success by appealing to that niche audience, giving them what they want, but making sure they would pay money to see it, if that makes sense. So if you're watching WWE and the ratings, all right, they have 2 million people watching Raw. Used to be 4, used to be 6, used to be 8. How many are spending money though? Merchandise, pay-per-view, tickets. If you create within your niche and say I have 100,000 fans who are spending $50 a year on our stuff in some aspects, that's not a bad little year, right? You just have to provide value to people that want to see that. So there are more options. So it's not the old way of looking at it. Like you have to be on a major television network. I think you could create to appease certain people. And I think that goes to podcasts. Yeah, podcasts, YouTube shows, workouts, any genre, comedy, drama. Like you can go out there and create, and it's so much easier now with all the technology. Like your iPhone, just like that shit could shoot beautiful content. And if you're clever enough to edit and find the right music and stuff like that, especially with how our culture is, swiping through everything, like anybody could be a success if they find the way. But I think sometimes you got to think differently too. So
Yeah, man.
that's what people.
Yeah.
That's why too.
So
real fast. You telling me about the podcast. I'm like, that's cool, man. I'm glad you're doing something. But like, what is it going to be that's going to be different? Because
exactly
every person has a podcast. There's like 8 billion podcasts. Like, what's Merrick going to bring different to the table? And we'll find out. So I wanted you to get your feet wet before I jumped in.
Yeah. No, obviously, yeah, it makes sense, bro. Like, I feel like, and to answer that question, I don't know, bro. I think the most that I could bring, like, in terms of starting something brand new, not really value in terms of numbers to people, but like value at least in like a dope conversation at least, because there's a lot of podcasts that I follow, and it's more so just like reading down a script of questions that they wrote down, especially like some of the wrestling podcasts, like none of the ones that you've done, but like the lower end ones. It almost seems like that's not really organic. So I've always said, like, I love talking to people throughout my entire like professional career. I've been interviewing people for big corporations, like hospitality wise. So I feel like I love to network and talk to people in general. So how can I monetize this? Just to have really dope conversations. So we'll see where it leads. But yeah, man. Again, thank you.
Yeah, what you too have to do is consistently deliver it for a very long time before it'll ever see anything. You're gonna probably want to quit 9 different times because I still like I'm doing so many viewers. Like, what's the point? I don't have a sponsor. What's the point? The people that give up, there's 8 million podcasts, but the ones you know are the people that just didn't give up. The ones you listen to and like, right? Yeah. Like I'm interviewing, I'm giving you a life lesson.
I know, right? Yeah, I feel attacked almost. Like this is like an intervention.
No, don't feel attacked.
But yeah, bro. Take me back to the beginning, man. Like how you got into wrestling in general, because I've never talked to you about this. I'm sure you probably mentioned it on other platforms before, but like, what was it exactly that got you into pro wrestling?
Man, just sort of like, I loved sport. I loved, action movies. I loved shit that made me laugh. I loved, gigantic, jacked up freaks. Like I'm growing up with Sly, Arnold, Van Damme. Like, these are my boys. Like, what's the real life equivalent to it? Hogan, Warrior, Rick Rude. That's it. So I was always attracted to that as a kid. I was always a fan, but I wasn't like a super fan until kind of like 9. And then, Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, Mankind, Undertaker. Like then I became a super fan. And then I was a good athlete at sport, but none of them like really struck me to like wrestling. So then I wanted to do that. And so you can't do it at 15 and 16 because there's no like pro wrestling camp for kids. So, you're in your backyard and around. So don't recommend it. Don't do it. But that's where I started. And then found a dumpy little school with a, perennial independent wrestling guy who wanted to start a school, learn the basics. It was always
Is
cool
this in Florida?
This was in Ohio.
In Ohio? Okay.
Yeah, but I'm also, now I'm in college, pro wrestling, but also I have bills to pay. I got to pay to live. So I'm working too. And a lot of these wrestlers get so inundated and this is my dream so much that I'll live with my mom. I still like, it's Saturday night. Do you want to go to a wrestling show and make $0 in Indiana and drive 5 hours? Or do you want to go to, Jane's fucking party, hit on women? Like, how many people are at the indie show? Yeah, I'll go to the party. But, I had athletics and a look. Like a lot of people don't look like they work out, that. And eventually I got kind of noticed, and then I got put in a spot to be in the opening match like I was when he saw me, but on the other end where I was the guy getting my ass kicked. But the second I walked out onto that like stage, like something snapped in me where I was like, I have to do this the rest of my life or I will be a failure. Like just feeling that one feeling. And so that's when I went all in. So.
All in, no pun intended. Awesome, man. Well, yeah, I think the wrestling is a dope aspect of like what you currently have going on, and obviously it's probably the majority of what you do day to day. But I feel like there's so much more that goes into like you as a person, right?
Yeah.
So like,
well, I think, yeah. Go ahead.
No, I wanted to touch on like your whole aspect on like training, because like back then your physique is completely different to how it is now. Like, what caused that specific change? Was it like something within you, or was it like a coach, or what sparked that whole change?
Uh, a few things. I mean, part of what made me love wrestling was the aesthetic superhero nature of it. And you're mentioning when I was up with WWE, like jacked, like thicker. I probably weigh the same now, but like the way I always trained my ass off, and I always dieted in a sense. Like I would plan meals and stuff like that and count, macros and things like that. The one thing I lacked was what worked for my body, because I was always trying, like, I want to be ripped, or I want to like a six pack, so I'm going to be low carb. I'm going to do carb cycling, or I'm going to have like a carb backloading, and I never like sticking. So I was always following plans, but I never knew which one worked for me. And then ran into AJ Sims.
I love it.
Yeah. And like I saw him torturing some dude at a gym doing a leg day. I'm like, who is this guy, and why is he making that guy scream so much? But like, he knew who I was. I didn't know who he was. Eventually, I don't know, through IG, I found him, follow him. There was something, I was suffering an injury. It was a concussion with WWE, and like working out was not fun. Nothing was fun. I was miserable in every aspect of my life, and I couldn't work. And I was just like, I need something different. And I always thought I knew everything, especially about dieting and how to eat, because I looked great. So, walking around at 8% body fat, that's pretty good. One of the leaner guys, one of the one guys that look, jacked and tan. But like, I'm like, I need something different. I just need to be like totally coached. So what would happen? So I got a hold of him. He knew who I was. We hooked up, started training me. Like, and the diet was completely different. And instead of starving myself, I'm eating more. And I'm like, this guy's nuts. There's no way that all these carbs, no. And like, I was hesitant, but I'm like, you said you'd try something new. You gotta do it. And then I started getting leaner. I'm like, what? This guy is a genius. So like one day he invites me over to his garage to work out, and we start working out. And
Is
like,
it called his garage though?
It's the dump.
Exactly.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
But then a pandemic starts, gyms close. This isn't good. So with the pandemic and with gyms closed, we got really close, and then we made the dump happen. It's his garage. Then next thing you know, I'm driving in each and every week with a new piece. Like, here's one dumbbell. Like, we're just piecing shit together. Nothing's open. So like, stores, weights are super expensive on marketplace and stuff like that. But like, we're piling shit in there. This dump keeps growing and growing. We're getting more and more jacked and shredded. And he's pushing me, not just as an athlete, but he's pushing me as a person, especially with his beliefs. He's a very optimistic person, very Christian person. And, we have a lot of questions because we don't know what's going on with life at the time, because it was so crazy. So the dump became my haven, and I'm at the dump every day. And like, just his coaching, his tutelage, an extra drive in my step and a remotivation is how I became a demigod of physicality. And, like, I'm insane. I'm 215 walking around at 5% body fat all the time. Not today, because I had a refeed yesterday, but like, damn. And he kind of got me into more, bodybuilding stuff, because I would train like a power builder, which I still should because my body hurts. But just by following my intuition to follow somebody else's advice and letting that happen was the big change.
He's literally the best coach, I think, in the world. Like, literally, no BS. Like, he not only talks the talk, but he walks the walk. There's so many IFBB coaches that I follow who are literally bloated and overweight, but you see them in the gym, like, spotting their athletes. And I'm just thinking, like, who are these guys in the gym, like, coaching all these top Olympians, and they don't even, like, do the work themselves? But AJ's literally, like, on point year round. And not only that, but he has a daughter and a family, and it's like, there's no excuses.
No, there's zero excuses. And with him, he wouldn't allow it. But then what I noticed with him is like, this is a this isn't a friend, man. This is a brother. And we were completely wired the same way. So we have two psychopaths out trying to out leg press each other. Results come. Yeah, he's one of the
man.
best additions of a human to my life. And he came at the right place at the right time. So multiple reasons.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping one day I can work with him. I'm not there yet in terms of, finances. But
he's
the
pricey.
GOAT, bro. So I feel like, yeah, because he's the best. Honestly, he's the best. And it's not just like a diet plan and training. Like he's switching out foods so they digest better, right? Like whatever you're allergic to, he'll switch it out. It's so much more in depth. I've always told people like his like 6-month coaching is almost like a 6-month college course, because you come out of that with so much knowledge, I feel, just based off of like some of the athletes that I talk to work with him. But enough about AJ. He has a lot of spotlight on this podcast right now.
Real fast. So just by working with him and doing the programming with him, like now I know it works for my body. So I don't need to, hey, I want to just peak a little bit for this show. I don't need to be micromanaged. Like I know it worked. And then I'm sure if I reached out, I'm in a lull, we would switch some things up. But I can't get any more jacked or ripped. So like, I don't know where to go. So it's okay.
Didn't you compete in a bodybuilding competition?
Yeah, I did one last year, and like I try to stay 3 weeks show ready at all times. Kills me physically, but I do. I don't know why. I think about doing it again. I suck at posing though, and I don't like posing. And before we started the podcast, I'm making fun of your vanity because of your, perfect features and you're super handsome. Like I don't care what people look like. I just want to. The only reason I wanted to compete is because those guys are so obsessed with how they look. I wanted some guy off the street to beat him. I beat some, but I don't know the pose. And if I really wanted to do it, which I should, it's learning that aspect.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think just going back to like working with AJ, and just a lot of people just lack the knowledge itself of like nutrition training, what works for them. But yeah, I mean, he's the GOAT, bro. So I'm hoping one day I can work with him. But aside from that, like I see the stuff that you make every morning. What is that? Is that like a pancake casserole? What would you call that?
I'm fortunate enough to have no children and be super single, so I don't have to worry about myself. And I do have a sweet tooth, so I'm obsessed with stevia. But usually if it's the morning, it's probably like a cream of rice pancake. How do I make it? Tell you. Well, what's my allotted cream of rice? Well, let's just say 100 grams. Boom. Well, what do I need? I need my protein. Here's a couple egg whites. I want some flavor. What am I going to get? Astro Flav. Fucking vanilla. Sounds good. Boom. Some sugar-free coffee bullshit. How about vanilla caramel? That sounds good. Glug, glug, glug. Need to make this thing a bit fluffier. Here's some cauliflower rice. Bring some fluff up. Xanthan gum isn't good for you, but it gives me a little bit more fluff. Maybe I put that in there. Blend it up. Fry it like a pancake. I just have a big chunk of nutrition. Good to go. Smother it with fake sugar-free syrup and off to the races.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, bro, I know you're busy, but before you go, I just want to shout out this t-shirt so everybody knows. Where did I get this t-shirt from? Can you tell them?
Yes, freeec3.com or controlyournarrative.co. Check out some merch. We got a lot of cool shit. There's a athletic line I want to develop. I have a few already. I just don't have time to launch it. So there'd be cool ass workout shirts.
And this one actually came off your back. I'd like to point out.
It
this
did.
Was actually
it literally
sweaty.
Did. Because I usually, that was the original prototype, actually.
Yeah, I can feel it. It's kind of faded. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of faded, and it was sweaty, and I haven't washed it yet since you gave it to me. Yeah, it's beautiful. But what's CYN's next show? Is it it's Ohio, right?
Yeah, CYN Cleveland 513, CYN Detroit 514, CYN Cedarburg, Wisconsin is 515. If you're from that area, do you know people in Ohio, Detroit, or Wisconsin? I
have some family. Yes, I have family up there who eat a lot of chili dogs in Ohio.
Dude, that sounds good.
Dude, Skyline, Dixie, Gold Star.
Never had Skyline chili. And I'm from Ohio.
You're missing out.
I know. Controlyournarrative.co for tickets. Follow me on the Insta. at the real EC3, Twitter, which I never use because it's the worst fucking place on earth, at the real EC3, Facebook at the real EC3, control your narrative, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
All that stuff. And special shout out to Bobby Fanta. Am I saying his last name right? Bobby Fanta. Special shout out to him because I was at Crunch in Kissimmee by the Loop, if anybody's familiar with that area, Kissimmee, Florida. And I wasn't wearing this shirt, but I saw this guy randomly over there doing deadlifts, wearing this shirt. And I walked up to him like, bro, where did you get that t-shirt? Because it's very rare for me to see somebody else wearing it. And yeah, shout out to him. And I think he's actually a wrestler too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can real fast, like Bobby, what I'm creating is for everybody that wants to pursue this as a dream and a passion to whatever level they are. And so a guy like Bobby, who's in the gym busting his ass, you know, he works so hard. Will he ever get an opportunity with the WWE or an AEW? Maybe, but probably not. Just because he's, you know, he's Bobby. But like, what intrigues me about him is how hard he works. And I want to reward that, and how passionate he is, and I want to reward that. And giving him an opportunity with what we do to do it at a high level, like that's a guy. Because what I've made him do to get to us was kind of, you know, paying your dues, you say. But like, he works so hard on things you don't know people see, which is a lesson for anybody. Is like, if you're given tasks or jobs and you want to work your way up, just work hard, because the right people will see it. They might not tell you they see it, but they see it and they know. And then they know when the time comes, you're getting the call to get it.
Awesome, man. That's beautiful. Well, listen, bro, thanks again for doing this. I love you. I hope your hand gets better. I don't know how that's going to affect your next couple of weeks, but hopefully it's not broken.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about your training though.
Rub some dirt on it, bro. Well, I'm a bodybuilder now. I don't need to. It's not like I'm a deadlift.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Well, listen, man, thanks again. Like, comment, subscribe on this video. Follow EC3 on Instagram, all that good stuff. Buy his t-shirts, buy his merch. Thanks again, bro.
You got it, buddy. Peace.